Alright, today's going to be a guide on how to complete the new Cluckin farm raid, the Scene of the Crime finale, doing it the stealth and a silent approach. Overall, this is pretty easy, and I think a lot of people are going to like it this way a little bit better because it's just less enemies and it's just overall less annoying. So let's get into it. So of course, once you complete all the previous preps, you just head back over to Vincent and you can start the finale. You can do this of course solo or up to 4 players. I think doing it solo is not even difficult at all. It's honestly going to be a lot more faster with more people, of course, but it's up to you on what you want to do. And as for the preps, I'll be having a separate video on that, so definitely look forward to it. So for the finale, you actually just start at the Cluckin farm raid. You don't have to travel there. So once you exit out the crate, I recommend just taking cover, making sure that you're ready for everything. But basically, I recommend just watching this gameplay and seeing how to, kill the enemies and everything, because overall, the enemies are really simple. Just killing them with headshots is obviously the way to go. Don't try to hit them with body shots, and make sure you also have a gun that has a suppressor on it, because I think the shotgun, at least in this loadout, doesn't have it. So when it comes to the enemies, most of them are separated, so you can really just kill any of them and you will be fine. There's no like body detections, there's no security cameras, so you could just keep killing and killing. Now of course, there are some enemies where they're next to each other, some like across, some standing right next to you, so you have to kill them rapidly. So once you kill one, you just kill the other one right away. And if you see 2 enemies that are across the room from each other, just make sure whichever one is in the cone of vision of the other one, make sure that you kill that one first, because obviously once you kill that one, they're going to see it and the alarm could go off. So of course, if you do end up getting caught, you do have to kind of go for the aggressive approach. You do not end up dying. You just do a simple where you just end up killing everybody. There are a few more enemies, but overall it's pretty easy. I think in total there's maybe like 20 guys you got to kill, and obviously there are times where you actually have to slow down a little bit, because some enemies like have a path that they're walking out, and you'll see in the gameplay where they're walking towards you or walking the other way. You obviously want them to be out of the cone of vision of others, so that you could just kill them. Of course, again, if you're doing this with more than 1 player, it's going to be even easier, because if you guys are in voice chat, you could just coordinate and be like, all right, you guys got this guy, I got this guy, kill them at the same time type of thing. But if you're doing it solo, this is definitely the way that you have to go for it. But once you end up killing the last few enemies, you could just head into the office. If you don't already have the keys, they should be scattered around. I think there's multiple spawn locations, but just look for anything that's like a flat top, like, you know, a crate or something like that, and they, you know, should be there. Honestly, I think most people probably already find it when they're going through this anyways, so I mean, it shouldn't be too hard. But once you end up finding the keys, you can go to the office, and that's when you can get started with the hacking device. So the hacking device is overall really easy to use. Basically, you just gotta, you know, whip it out from your weapon wheel, and it's gonna be red when you first start, and eventually the bar is gonna go higher, go to blue. If it shows more blue, that means that you're getting closer, and obviously it's going to beep as well. Basically, what you're looking for is like these different like computer terminals that are scattered around. You're going to see them, and once you go to, you know, whichever one is blinking blue, it automatically connects, and then you have a total of 3 of them to do. So it's simple. You're going to see the computers, and they're overall like right there in the second room. You just got to go to the right ones in order, and you'll be able to get it done. And once you end up doing that, it's going to give you a safe code, which is on the radar gun that you just used. And I think there's, you know, different combinations and everything. It's probably like a certain amount. I'm not exactly sure how much, but pretty much, you know, just get that, put in the safe code, and you'll be able to take the cash. So that's overall really it when it comes to the Cluckin Bell farm rate. At this point, you can escape. Now, of course, since we are doing this stealthy, you don't really have to worry about people shooting at you when you leave. But however, there are some enemies outside. At this point, it's really up to you. I mean, you still completed a stealthy in a way. But overall, there's like maybe 5 enemies outside. Just watch out and just end up avoiding them as much as you can. The cops will also not come toward you. They're actually just blocking the roads, so you should be fine when it comes to the police. But overall, there's like 5 different enemies outside. It does kind of get, you know, a little bit tricky because of the enemies and their positions. But if you just do the same thing that you did inside, you can do the same thing outside. At this point though, if you want to, you can just somewhat go aggressive and just, you know, kill them or just walk past them. I mean, it really doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're just going to the getaway vehicle, which is right there. And this is where the most important part definitely comes in when it comes to the getaway. Again, when it comes to the vehicle, it's up to you. I'll be having a guide for the preps and explaining a little bit more, but just follow the train track on this path and literally just follow it all the way to the city. At this point, you should end up losing the cops. If you want to, you can go hide in the tunnel near the casino, or you can end up hiding, you know, somewhere else. Of course, you can't call Lester or anything like that to get the cops off, but I think once you're like on the train track, at least for me, the multiple times I did this, you're just gonna end up losing them anyways, and just stay out of sight. There's not that many cops anyways. I think you have like a 3 or 4 star, so you should be fine. And then once you get like near the city, you can just exit off one of the paths and then head over to Vincent's lockup. And of course, you'll be able to get the payment, which is $500,000. Of course, completing for the first time gives you a bonus, as well as if you do the weekly challenge too, which is to complete this for this week. So overall, it's a really simple heist. There's nothing too hard about it. I think the main thing that people have to focus on for sure is just taking your time, because a lot of people might end up rushing throughout the heist and just trying to, you know, kill as many enemies. And it's fine if you want to go aggressive, you know, after. Aggressive is fine too. You know, it could get a little bit trickier if you're doing it on hard mode, because obviously you can pick between normal or hard. And if you're doing a solo, but I think most people could probably handle it, especially after the preps. I mean, some of the preps were a little bit kind of annoying with all the gangs and enemies. So if you're used to that already, of course, then it shouldn't be too hard here. But just keep in mind though, of course, if you are in hard mode, you have no lives. So if you end up dying, you know, you got to restart. But there is checkpoints at least. I don't think you have to restart fully from the beginning. So that shouldn't be too bad. And then when it comes to some of the other stuff, if you guys know from the preps, you are able to get some money as well as just cash if you end up stealing more getaway vehicles that you want to use, which again, I'll talk about more. But overall, just know the max payout I guess for this would probably be around 530,000, which I think it's somewhat good. But of course, when double money comes out, it's gonna be a lot more better. And I do wish that Rockstar kind of increased the pay just a little bit more, since you have to realize $500,000 is good, but this is an hour of work. And I think that, you know, at this point, it should be a little bit raised more higher, since if you compare it to some other updates and other content in the game, you actually can make a lot more for less time. So I mean, it's a decent amount. I'm glad it's not like 250,000 or something like that. That would be terrible. But I think this is, you know, something that Rockstar can definitely improve on. But regardless, we're probably going to have some type of event week, you know, next week or something like that, where it increases it to double money, or at least like 50% more, which I mean, obviously I think people will enjoy playing. And then overall, for like a review a little bit of the missions, I think it's good. And I think that overall for any GTA Online player, as long as you take your time, you'll be able to complete it. Just don't really rush toward it, because sometimes with certain missions as well as the finale, there is a lot of enemies. One thing to definitely keep in mind though is that if you feel like it's a little bit too difficult, you can always do normal mode. And I think that if you even find it more difficult than that, then just playing with a friend or somebody will just make it more better for you. So overall, it's a pretty good heist. Again, I'll be having another video on a guide for the preps and just breaking that down, so look forward to that here on the channel. But if you guys enjoyed or found this helpful, you already know what to do. Subscribe and put up post notifications. Also, don't forget to drop a like, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.